Good day, noodlers. This is the Wholesale Real Estate Investing by SAHA, number 203 on this negotiation NEWOP Day, December 21st, 2015. And welcome to the Hangout. I want to say we're glad to have everybody here. I don't know where you're hanging out from, but you know what? Hey, get on your little keypad there and type it in. Let us know where you're hanging out from. We'd like to see where everybody's checking this out, because you know what? It's all great information, and it's all stuff that you can apply in your business, in your wholesale real estate business, in whatever business that you're in realistically, in your life, in your relationships, in a whole bunch of different things. You know, get a whole bunch of really cool information here that can go with just about anything. So what do you say, John? How you doing today? Where are you hanging out from?
I'm doing fantastic today, Paul. I'm having a little weird computer issue, and I'm trying to. There you are. I've been trying to find the screen that I had the Hangout on. It was just driving me crazy. It was hard to get focused in if I couldn't see Paul's handsome face. Anyways, it is NEWOP Day, one of my favorite days of the session. It is coming to you from my end, live from Phoenix, Arizona. That's where I'm hanging out from. I see you're in Tahoe, so that's an awesome thing. And, geez, what is it that we like to talk most about on NEWOP days? Is it a negotiation NEWOP day? Is it how to win friends and influence people NEWOP day?
Oh, that's exactly what it is. And here's something interesting. You know what? I have been traveling for the last 3 days. I've driven over 1,500 miles. I've flown over 750 miles, and I got up this morning. I'm in a different time zone, so everything's an hour earlier than what I'm kind of accustomed to. And I woke up this morning, although I was up very early this morning, just a little out of sorts because I drove 12 hours yesterday, something like that. So yeah, a little physically worn, a little mentally worn, et cetera, and so on. Woke up this morning and having a slow start to this day, and I finally, was able to, feel strong about, okay, I can get over here and start, getting the Hangout set up and doing all of that, and didn't have a whole lot of time left, and I was not prepared at all for this negotiation NEWOP Day Hangout. And I'm so glad that we're on this chapter, because I only had just a couple minutes. I'm really excited now. I'm so pumped up and ready to rock this thing, because I had just a few minutes. And so I opened up the book to do a quick review on what is this? This is part 2, chapter 2, if I'm not mistaken, that we're in right now, right? Yes, part 2, chapter 2, a simple way to make a good first impression. And it just, I mean, as soon as I read the first half a paragraph or half a page, the opening, that much of the first page, I was just, like I said, woke me up. I'm excited. I feel energized. I feel I'm having a good time, and I just want to get this thing going, because now I feel totally prepared, even though I felt totally unprepared coming into this, like, oh, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes ago. So that's pretty awesome. That right there is just some of the power behind this very simple way to make a good first impression.
Absolutely. It's a book that I've read several times, and I'm so glad that we started several months ago to go through this book. For those of you who might be joining the Hangout for the first time and are curious to what this is all about, there's a lot of stuff we talk about. We are here Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, but what I'm going to specifically talk about Monday, which Paul and I renamed NEWOP Day, because here we are on NEWOP Day. So let's focus on now. How to win friends and influence people. And as Paul said, this concept is so simple. It makes me smile. And there's a reason for that. I'm going to go ahead, if Paul doesn't object, and it's kind of funny to me, this first paragraph, just because I've heard one of my other mentors say something that I'll share with you after I read it. But if Paul doesn't object, I'd like to just kind of read the first paragraph to kind of set the tone for the chapter here. And it's basically chapter 2, a simple way to make a good first impression. And it starts out by just sharing a story about a New York dinner party. So here we go. At a dinner party in New York, one of the guests, a woman who had inherited money, was eager to make a pleasing impression on everyone. So she had squandered a modest fortune on sables, diamonds, and pearls, but she hadn't done anything whatever about her face. I laugh because I had a mentor with a training program, and one of the things he kept reiterating was, fix your face, people. Hey, fuck your eyebrows. Go to a dermatologist if you got some crap going on. Fix your teeth if they're all jacked up and jagged, because that impression of how a person sees your face is probably the most important first impression. And to continue on in this chapter is she didn't realize what everyone knows, namely that the expression one wears on one's face is far more important than the clothes one wears on one's back. Do you have a pleasing expression or a scowl on your face when you talk to people?
Yeah. Are you, as it said right in the middle, are you radiating, happiness and enjoying other people's company, or are you radiating sourness and selfishness? And then it moves on to talking about Charles Schwab, who says that his smile had been worth $1 million, and that he probably, understanding the truth about this, it said, for Schwab's personality and his charm, his ability to make people like him were almost wholly responsible for his extraordinary success. And one of the most delightful factors in his personality was his captivating smile. What it says here is that, actions do speak louder than words. And a smile basically says, I like you, you make me happy, and I'm glad to see you. When you very first see a person, that's what you having a smile on your face radiates, is that I like you, you make me happy. That's why I'm smiling, and I am glad to see you. If you don't have a smile on your face, what are you saying? What the hell are you doing here? You again? Oh my God. Yeah, I can't stand this guy. What the
It goes on to kind of point out the fact that, like, what makes dogs and babies so popular is first thing you do whenever you see it, you come home. I have a dog. It actually drives me crazy. So I might be having the opposite effect. But most people, when they see dogs, my dog, when he sees me, she jumps up. She's excited. She looks like she has a giant old smile on her face, and she's panting for me and begging for my attention. But that dog's wearing that expression and has that whole energy level, which quite overwhelms me. The dog knocks me on my ass. But it's so genuinely excited to see you. And that energy is so critically important. Now, I'm being facetious. I love my dog and the energy and all that. And that's another reason why babies are so pleasing to people, because a baby smile is so bright. It's so happy because it's so, and we're going to get into this here moving through the chapter, it's so genuine and sincere. And that in itself is a critical thing. So, you're keeping that smile on your face, trying to exude that, happiness to others and warmness and welcoming. It's got to be a sincere smile. People can kind of spot insincerity, and it really doesn't fool anyone. Yeah. But like I said, and I think that's why baby smiles and dogs are really make people feel good, is because they're so genuine about it.
Yeah, and I want to go back to just the whole core concept of the smile. This is by far, out of everything in this book, the simplest thing that you can do to start changing, adapting a pleasing personality for yourself, is just simply to smile. Now, I said simplest thing. I didn't say easiest thing, because it's simple, because the main reason why it's simple is everything else, pretty much everything else within this book, pretty much involves your words and how you think about what you're saying and what you're saying to other people, how it's presented, et cetera, and so on. So how you present yourself, through your words. Whereas in this particular case right here, why it's so simple is you don't have to say nothing. It's just very simply putting a genuine happy smile on your face. Okay. But it's not easy because you literally do have to think about this. If you put this in your mind right now and go on about your day, you will catch yourself. If you have to think about, am I smiling? Am I smiling? Am I smiling? And you will catch yourself multiple times throughout the day not smiling. And all of a sudden you have to go and put a big old smile on your face. And instantaneously when you do, that's the funny thing is you'll catch yourself when you're frustrated, you're angry, you're not feeling good about something, you're feeling down about something, you got some bad news, whatever the case is. Those are all the situations where you'll find yourself not smiling, and then you'll have to be thinking about it, like I said, because you won't just automatically smile. Through all those things that I just mentioned, you're not going to be smiling through those. So you have to actually physically use your brain, train your brain to think about making these muscles go up, do that thing right there, contract or whatever it is that they do. And you have to think about that and transfer that from here to here. But once you just do that simple little action of curling up the corners of your mouth, you'll instantaneously, no matter what it is that has you down or feeling bad or angry or whatever, your mood, your thoughts, everything about that will instantaneously change. It's got superpower when it exposes to other people, but it's got superpower upon yourself too. And he goes on here to express some more stories here about sort of how that can also sort of manifest within you when you just smile.
Absolutely. The book goes in to kind of share a story from a veterinarian doctor who talked of a typical spring day. And this shows how powerful this stuff is, this little example here. Talked about a typical spring day in his veterinarian office. He had about 6, maybe 7 people in the waiting room. And as usual, what happens when you're waiting in a doctor's waiting room? Everybody's sitting around, looking at the floor, staring at their cell phone. They all got glum faces on. They're all feeling and looking miserable. No one's talking to each other or engaging other people. Very, very typical in our society to kind of sit there. Most people probably a little frustrated about sitting here just wasting time. In walks this woman with her kitten and a baby, and she sits down next to a gentleman, doesn't say anything. She's probably sitting there too, with a glum look. Or in my case, whenever I go with my children anywhere, I can't help but smile because it's like children are naturals when it comes to this stuff. They haven't been destroyed yet. But in this analogy here, this baby looks up at the gentleman that was sitting next to the woman who brought the baby in and just makes a big old smile at the guy. And what does he naturally do? What does anybody naturally do? They smile back. And what did Paul just say? The act of smiling is not only a powerful way to break the ice, as this baby's breaking the ice with this guy, with other people, but it also does something internally to like release endorphins or just a positive energy from the smile. So what happens here in this waiting room is once this baby smiles up at this guy and he smiles back, it changes the tone of the entire interactions between these people. And pretty soon, because of the ice being broken of a simple smile and the change in the energy of that room to a more positive, happy energy, the people in the waiting room start to kind of talk with each other and chat and open up and start smiling. And guess what happens? They're not frustrated. The time moves faster. People are warming up to one another. And that's, how powerful really this stuff is. It could, a smile can turn something unpleasant into an enjoyable experience.
Yeah, it's funny because what you mentioned there about waiting in a doctor's office. wasting time, feeling down because your time is being wasted. How many places, especially in today's world, is your time being wasted? I mean, how many doctor's offices are you sitting in? How many grocery store lines are you standing in? How many bank lines are you standing? How many lines, period, all over the place are you standing in, wasting your time? And I mean, even with me doing a little bit of traveling the last couple of days, airports, people are waiting around in airports. Even driving. This was very interesting, something that I actually, I like doing this when I drive now. It's so funny. People in cars are so, just mesmerized by the road going down the highway. And it's so funny because I'm sitting there behind the wheel and I got it sitting up tall and erect and I got this big old smile on my face and I'm just cruising down the road, and I'm not, it's not like I'm singing or something like that, but I do that too sometimes. I'll be singing and dancing in the car, but just sitting there smiling. And then when somebody comes to go past, I'll always just look over and give them a big old smile. And you just see the faces in the car next to you that's just passing you just go from to, oh, hey, that guy's smiling at me. It's so funny to see that, and the power that a smile can have to turn, like John says, any situation anywhere where there's a group of people that are all grouped together wasting their time, so to speak. Yeah, they're down. They're in a position where their time is out of their control. They have no control over their time at this point in time, so they're really down because what else can they be doing right now? Probably 100,000 other things that are more important, that they'd rather be doing, or that might even be fun. And so, bring a little fun to the glum and put a smile on your face and just look at one person. And the funny thing is watching how many people will see you with your smile. They'll just give you a smile back and go, just this little smile back and be right back into their glumness. Now and now to watch them trying to avoid eye contact with you because they don't want to get out of that. They want to stay in that, leave me alone. No, you're happy. Don't bother me.
I want to interject two thoughts that sparked off that really are a little off topic. One is you should never be wasting your time in a waiting room anyway. You never know who you're sitting. This goes for life. You never know who you're sitting next to. So if you have this concept about being warm, friendly, and smile, you never know who you might smile at, who you might affect, or who you might end up in a conversation with. You could be in a waiting room sitting there glum as everyone else, or you could do as Paul said and just look around and smiling at everybody and look how people react either pleasantly or very awkwardly. And there's a reason why people act awkwardly, but that's another topic. But you never know who you're sitting next to. You could strike up a conversation with your next biggest investor. You could be striking conversation up with your future wife, your future boyfriend, or just a new business contact or a new friend or someone to add to your network. So you never know. So you've got to get out of the mindset that when you're sitting in a waiting room, you're wasting time, because you can also be sitting in the waiting room reading this book. You know what I'm saying? One other thought too, and this is something that I wanted to get into on the Hangout today, which I won't, but I'm going to kind of preface this whole concept of hypnotic, oh gosh, now I can't remember the word, hypnotic rhythm that we're all in. And you know what? It's because those people that choose to like look up and then immediately get awkward and fall back into their glumness because they're more comfortable there. There's a whole reason behind that, which we shouldn't even bother getting into today. But I just recently was privy to some amazing information about why people slip into that. But you know what? That's not us. And you want to fight that hypnotic rhythm and falling into that trap. Smile and don't think about waiting rooms as a waste of time. Look at it as an opportunity to either continue studying this type of stuff or making your next huge business contact. So I just kind of wanted to throw that in here since we're talking about waiting rooms and time wasting.
Yeah, exactly. And he goes on here to talk about something to do with sales in here. He says, people who smile tend to manage, teach, and sell more effectively and to raise happier children. There's far more information in a smile than in a frown. That's why encouragement is a much more effective teaching device than is punishment.
So important.
Yeah, that's a real key, cool thing that he says in there. This one dude from an employment manager in a New York department store said he'd rather hire a sales clerk who hadn't finished grade school if he or she has a pleasant smile than to hire a doctor of philosophy with a somber face. And then this is a really big one, especially in our business, because this is something that we spend a lot of time doing. I'm going to read this here. The effect of a smile is powerful, even when it is unseen. Telephone companies throughout the United States have a program called Phone Power, which is offered to employees who use the telephone for selling their services or products. In this program, they suggest you smile when talking on the phone, that your smile comes through in your voice. And he has a little story here to back that up. He talks about a computer manager of a computer department for a Cincinnati, Ohio company. Oh yeah, this book is pretty old, but a computer department in Cincinnati, Ohio, told how he successfully found an applicant for a hard-to-fill position. He said he was desperately searching for, a recruit a PhD in computer science for his department. He finally located a young man with ideal qualifications who was about to graduate from Purdue University. And after several phone conversations, he learned that this student had several offers from other companies to come work for him. And so he was really delighted when this student chose his company to come to work for. And after he asked him why he accepted his position, he said that I think that it was because for the other companies spoke on the phone in a cold business-like manner, which made me feel just like another business transaction. Your voice sounded as if you were glad to hear from me, that you really wanted me to be part of your organization. And he finishes off, he says, you can be assured I am still answering the phone with a smile on my face.
This is so true. And this is something I constantly remind myself in. And, a lot of what we do here with our property noodler system is we work with sellers who are out of state, which means we never actually get the opportunity to meet them face to face. We've got to negotiate, we've got to build rapport, and we've got to earn trust all through conversations that take place over the phone. It's a little more difficult when you're not able to be face to face with someone to gain their trust and build that sort of rapport, because you can't make eye contact. They can't see the smile on your face. You can't read their face for cues. However, you could still, and we're very successful at this, convert an out-of-state seller into a closed deal simply by talking over the phone and being upbeat, personable, and smile on your face during that phone conversation. Critically important. I have to constantly remind myself to put the smile on my face. And actually, when I'm doing it, when I'm on the phone, I start to kind of internally laugh, and because I'm like, why am I trying to smile? This looks so goofy and fake. They can't see it anyway. And then I start to smile for real because of just the power of that it has. And my tones sound more pleasing because of the smile, my demeanor, the way I treat them on a subconscious level. All this changes. And we do have a department within our organization here with sellerhousearizona.com where we have phone calls that be made. We got a guy, Tim, that works on them. And I listen to him on the phone. And when he makes a cold call and he gets somebody on the phone, he is so excited, genuinely excited that someone answered the phone and he has the opportunity to get a deal that he never read this book. This guy, I don't even know if he could read this book because, and as he just naturally just smiles because it's genuine, and he's genuinely happy about finally getting someone on the phone that has the potential to put some money in his pocket, and he has the potential to help them in the process, that it just beams from his voice. He hear it and I smile in the other room when I hear it because it's so funny. He just gets so excited. The people on the phone become so warmed up to him. And that harkens back to somebody who says, I'd rather have the sales clerk with a first grade education than the doctor of philosophy. You know, not to knock you, Tim, if you're on this hangout, which you're most likely not, but I'd rather have a dyslexic person that has a really difficult time understanding instructions for the simple fact that he can smile and he makes other people feel good. So I understand some of the limitations that he has, but I think it's worth the time of our organization to put time into someone like this because of their ability to make people feel a certain way, and that's excited and happy because of their genuine interest and excitement about them and that genuine smile that he's able to put on his face when he's in a sales situation or when he's with a seller or a buyer.
Yeah, he's like you said, it's genuinely excited when somebody gets on the phone call, and I've seen him on the phone, and you know, he's always kind of got that goofy smile on his face while he's talking, and just
the whole time.
So it's funny.
It's infectious.
It goes along here to back that up a little bit. He's talking about here the chairman of the board of a very one of the largest rubber companies in the United States said that according to his observations, people rarely succeed at anything unless they're having fun doing it. So, I mean, that's it right there. You know, if you're, whatever it is that you're doing, if you're not having fun doing it, your chances of being successful at it are extremely limited. He says this industrial leader doesn't put much faith in the old adage that hard work alone is the magic key that will unlock the door to our desire. He says, I have known people who succeed because they have a rip-roaring time conducting their business. Later, I saw those same people change as the fun becomes work, and the business has grown dull, and they lost all the joy in it, and it ends up failing. I mean, that's huge right there. If you're in a business, especially, I mean, a lot of times it's very fun when you get started. It's something new and exciting. And then as you get into it, and this is where a lot of people probably end up failing in their businesses, is once they get into it, you know, all of that sort of fun and newness and excitement kind of turns into work a little bit. And then it starts getting a little bit dull and boring because realistically, that's what you exactly want in a business, is to take it from fun and exciting and turn it into something dull and boring. That's how you duplicate, but that's another story. But the whole idea is that they get themselves caught up in a place there where they feel like they have to own a piece of that dull boringness, and then, you know, they lose all the fun that the whole thing started out with, and they lost all the joy that goes along with running this business, and the next thing you know, the business starts running into the ground. You know, we got to have a good time meeting people if you expect them to have a good time meeting you. That's the key right there. If you want to, you know, meeting people, it's, you know, just on the phone, in person, whatever, you need to be having fun with it. If you're not having fun with it, they're not having fun with it, you're a doldrum. You think they're going to like you? That's what it all comes down to. He says, I've asked thousands of people in business to smile at someone. Oh, he gets into another feature. I'm going to stop for a second, Jeff. And we're out of time here. This would be probably a really good place to pick up next week.
Yeah, I'm going to make a little note.
There's just a little bit more we need to cover here. This is actually a very short chapter because obviously it's a very simple principle. The simplest one in the book to perform, although not easy at all, as I said earlier. But there's just, you know, there's a few more things here I'd like to throw out at you as far as the power and the importance behind, you know, one of these right here.
You know what? Where you ended off to is, I think, a perfect kind of spot to throw in a final thought, probably from the both of us. And I'm just going to reread this little paragraph. You must have a good time meeting people if you expect them to have a good time meeting you. You have to feel good about meeting people. You have to show excitement. You have to smile. You have to want to do it. and you can learn to want to do it. You know, if I went into a sales situation, because part of being a successful wholesaler is you know how to work with, and I don't want to use the word deal with because it makes it sound negative. You just got to know how to work with people and understand people. That's a much better word than dealing. Understanding people and have a good time doing it. In fact, the more confidence you gain, the bigger your ability to offer financial services and real estate solutions, the better time you have, and the people you're working with sense it. You know, when I first started this business, I was a little timid. I didn't know a whole lot about real estate. I was unsure about the contracts, yada, 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 so forth and so on. And our closing rate was a lot less. But as I gained confidence, as I started to have a better time with this business because I felt more comfortable, more confident, and all of a sudden my sales and my ability to close people increased. And I really feel that it's because whenever I sit down in someone's living room or I get on the phone with somebody, I tried, you know, we're there for business, but we're there to build rapport. And we build rapport by finding common ground, having a conversation with that person about, you know, their personal life, and we make it fun. We have a good time with it. And then people warm up to us because we're having a good time. They're having a good time. Now they like us and they're saying yes and they're putting their name on a contract. And our whole philosophy here with the property noodler system is to give you that confidence right from the start so you can immediately start having a good time. And you ask any of the people that work with us, they love this business, just the various personalities of people that you're going to meet when you're out there working with sellers, all the little nuances, the pitfalls, the speed bumps, even, you know, the simple closings. It can be really fun, exciting stuff, and you got to have a good time doing it because, as that simple concept says, you must have a good time meeting people if you expect them to have a good time meeting you. And putting that smile on your face, it not only changes you internally, it changes your external environment as well. And again, just to bring back one final thing from the beginning of the chapter when they talked about Charles Schwab, he's an extremely, extremely successful businessman and entrepreneur of his day. And that was for his main attribute, which gave him that success, was his ability to smile and get other people to do things for him because his ability to understand and influence and show genuine interest in others. So with that being said, I'll toss it over to Paul for a final thought, and you can close us out with the prayer.
Just a quick little shameless plug for the Property Noodler system, and that is the fact that I just love how our people come in here, and the ones who, you know, realize that this is something that they can do and want to do, they start out with the whole idea of, oh my God, this is what I don't know. I don't know about this. But then after they get into it, they're like, man, this is so much fun. So with that, everybody, oh universe, I ask not for more riches, but for more wisdom, with which to make better use of the riches given to me at birth, consisting of the power to control and direct my own mind towards having more fun each and every day with everything that I do. To whatever other ends also that I might desire. So everybody, you know, have a great session. Wish you an early Merry Christmas. We will be here on Wisdom Wednesday. We will not be doing a show on Friday because it is Christmas Day, and we're all going to be busy with doing a few other things, having some fun. So with that, we'll see you back here on Wednesday, and have a great holiday.